but it's not working as he planned. But because it looks like SlayerSBoxeR is gonna pull everything behind the mineral line, LiquidJinro has to pull his SCVs, and then he's already seen that he's done the damage because MacBlade does not have a lot of anti-air, only Thors. But it looks like LiquidJinro does not have any Thors whatsoever. He only has a couple of Marines. But it looks like SlayerSBoxeR is now gonna get some free scouting information, seeing that, oh, this is gonna be a lot of mech, but he's already seen that from the army composition already, so that this actually was not needed. But he's gonna try and find a hole. This missile turret's gonna block their way and actually gonna kill one medevac, and that had a lot of units in it. I want to see the units lost at 3750 for SlayerSBoxeR's lost already against 2k resources for LiquidJinro. LiquidJinro now actually finally gonna take his third base because now he feels secure. He actually has one Banshee, or two Banshees actually, and just waiting. Well, I'm just wondering what he's gonna do with that Banshee. He does have Cloak apparently, so I'm kind of curious what he will do that, because this sensor tower obviously will see anything incoming to kill the mineral line, whatever. But there's also one and two missile turrets up already. It looks like SlayerSBoxeR is gonna get his command center as well, a bit delayed compared to Jinro. And it looks like Vikings come out and play a bit. And already weapons level 2 for Jinro just finished, and that's gonna do a lot of damage on this infantry units. Now the Banshee just hung over the infantry a bit of SlayerSBoxeR. Now this is a good choice with the fast units. He's gonna control the Xel'Naga Watchtower, and then he's just gonna, well, if SlayerSBoxeR wants to take the Xel'Naga Tower, he's gonna have a hard time because all of these tanks will shoot at that. But it looks like they're just maxing out a bit. The weak point about mech is that you actually, because they're all so slow units, the only Hellions are fast units, but they aren't like really strong against other mechanized stuff. But because of the siege tank, look at it roll, it's really slow. The Thors, he does not have any Thors on the way quite yet. But Thors are also very slow by nature, and thereby you actually need to on 3 bases or 2 bases, you need to max out in order to make a big push, and then you might consider to take a 4th or just all in on those 3 bases. It looks like Jinro wants to actually deny this command center, but he must be fast. No, his units are just stupidly using their AI in the middle, just not being able to pass each other. And it looks like SlayerSBoxeR is gonna stim here. He needs to siege up really quick, and there we go. And then he needs to pull back to minimize the damage done, or damage taken. Because as an infantry ball, you do not want to run into this. Now, what SlayerSBoxeR might want to do is just load up a couple of Marauders and just drop those on the siege tanks, because there are not, at least the Marines are spread out, but SlayerSBoxeR does not know that, so he needs to be very careful with his infantry ball. Oh, excuse me, I yawned there a bit. Let's see. Jinro wants to take another command center, and Jinro is really out of position here, so he actually needs to kill this planetary fortress to become even with SlayerSBoxeR, because SlayerSBoxeR is now actually in the lead because he killed that gold expansion. But LiquidJinro is not responding to it whatsoever. He's just gonna slow push that planetary fortress with his tanks. The beauty of tanks is they can outrange the planetary fortress by ease, but it looks like the SCVs are repairing the planetary fortress enough. So actually LiquidJinro has to use this command center, which he actually was building here but got denied. He actually needs to place that on the gold again to get, well, back into the race, because obviously if we look on the income tab, he's way behind. He lost a lot of SCVs. about a minute ago, he was really in the lead with SCVs because Jinro is really good with his macro. He wants to have a lot of SCVs, and there we go. A lot of Marauders gonna drop onto the tanks just as I predicted, but Jinro has a lot of good spread on his tanks. But the fun part about dropping Marauders on those siege tanks. Marauders are really beefy units. They can take on like for example, one siege tank. They can take on like 3 or 4 hits before actually dying. So if they just drop on, for example, this location, all of these siege tanks are gonna shoot at those Marauders, and then the splash damage occurs and might even kill a couple of siege tanks of himself. It looks like SlayerSBoxeR is gonna go by the bottom of the map, trying to see if there's an expansion up again. I think. Let's see. He's still, yeah, base under attack. It looks like SlayerSBoxeR wants to move up in the front. There's a lot of siege tanks here. This is not a good decision because Jinro actually pulled a lot of siege tanks back. Now he wants to pull his siege tanks more to the other siege tanks because that actually might hurt himself. Oh, and he's just gonna pull some units into the main, but Jinro already being prepared, having Cloak Banshee and some units by himself in his own main. But this might do a lot of damage because siege tanks actually have to siege, and that slows their own mobility, and the infantry is very mobile by itself. So he might take out this barracks. He does take out the barracks. He takes out not another barracks. He's gonna confront that army, but that is not a good decision with these siege tanks in the back. So he's just gonna run back. General actually needs to repair this barracks because that is actually crucial at this moment because he does not have a third base. Now it looks like General actually wants to take a third base close to his opponent. It looks like there goes the planetary fortress. And some Viking just being annoying against these medivacs, because the medivacs are actually doing a pretty good job. Oh, it looks like Boxer actually tacked up to Banshees at this point, because if we look at the units, well, Jinro has 27 Marines at the moment, because, well, Banshees are a fast DPS unit. With 2 shots they can actually kill a Marine, even with the shields, I think so. So he might even want to get Cloak on them, but there he goes, he kills one Banshee. With superb micro, he might kill a second, he does not kill a second. Alas, alas. Ooh, SlayerSBoxeR got actually pretty close to that tank line. It looks like the command center is finally up and running for LiquidJinro, and it looks like SlayerSBoxeR won't be able to get a third base pretty soon unless he wants to take this base. And maybe even this goal. That would be really bold if he did that. But LiquidJinro is now letting Boxer waste a lot of his scans.